Welcome to the Parody, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite media. I'm Justin Rose, and today we're looking at Killer Bean 2.1, The Party, originally released on the web in 2000. After the original didn't do all that well, I'm pretty sure Jeff Liu may have wanted to do another one, and thankfully this one performed really well. And although the CGI still has its flaws, it still manages to age greatly. This can be attributed to the more cartoony yet realistic nature of this. This can likely be tied to the case that he might have already animated on the first X-Men movie by the time this released. And like I said last time, his credits in the digital effects field are numerous. Oh, this is basically the one where the Bean dies by shitting. If any of this looks familiar, it's basically because this entire thing was repurposed to be the opening of Killer Bean Forever. The entirety of this and the opening of Killer Bean Forever are basically the exact same with just a few differences. Most notably that Killer Bean fights the DJ on top of a rooftop instead of just shooting him. And also, the beans don't twerk. But yes, the entire premise is still, beans are having a party, the music is way too loud, Killer Bean tells them to turn it down, they don't, so he goes and kills all of them. And after killing all of them, he gets his wishes. And also, fascinating fun fact, this specific entry in the Killer Bean saga was specifically mentioned on an episode of Siskel and Ebert, which I thought was pretty cool. Here, I'll play the clip.
Straps on his firepower with the intention of kicking some butt. What follows is possibly one of the best gunfights I've seen in a good long while. This salute to the great Hong Kong action master John Woo and his cult classic The Killer is a little animation called Killer Bean 2. The original Killer Bean debuted in 1995. Now this sequel...
Will a party bring us more victims than an interrogation? I mean, it probably will, but let's figure out anyways and get to the decaffeinations. The short begins this time in widescreen, some opening credits, and a title card. We make it out of here at a bitchin' party with a monotonous music track. Sick moves there, Bean. And dude, they have the entire budget for motorcycles at this party. What's not to love? Well, I guess Killer Bean does it because this shot goes out from far out the window and into his own house, where he's struggling to get some sleep. He calls the host of the party to where he asks him if they can just turn down the music already. However, the Bean responds with just like ignoring his entire request, throwing his own phone away, and turning up the music. Killer Bean then just somersaults out of his bed, opens the door, and gets his guns, so he can go kick some bean. He does some very sick tricks with his guns and then just falls under a spotlight. After preparing, he's ready, although he has to clap the light away. He flips out of his window and into his car so he can drive away to kill. His first victim is a bean outside who decided to go smoking as he runs him over through the window. I'm also gonna count that bean that gets completely crushed. He then spots the DJ Bean, to which he has immediate shit on, but the DJ Bean escapes just in time. Good for the DJ Bean, because he's being saved for last. Before the DJ Bean can die, the motorcycle Bean has to die in a shootout explosion. Killer Bean jumps up to a fence but almost gets shot by another being, making this the closest point to Killer Bean's death. Alright boys, let's get him. So these beans decide to shoot at Killer Bean, but Killer Bean isn't having any of it, so one of them dies from gunshots. When they get shot, their body gets thrown down to some barrels below. Alright, still won't get him down. So he gets shot down, but before he can kill Killer Bean, he himself gets shot in the head. After Steven cowers in fear a bit, Killer Bean challenges him to a standoff, and well, obviously, Killer Bean wins it. Another Bean thinks he can outsmart him, but Killer Bean catches the bullet with his guns. Oh shit. Killer Bean hates profanity, so now you're dead.
Reckless my brown bean ass.
Oh wait, that's right, okay. He then disposes of 3 more Bean friends that pop up. Killer Bean decides to impress his new boyfriend with some epic sick dance moves before he shoots his own boyfriend. Killer Bean, what the fuck? I thought this was a gay ceremony. The above ground Beans try to shoot Killer Bean, but he rolls under them and tries to shoot one of them, which he succeeds at. Alright John, let's get him. So they start shooting at him before Killer Bean shoots one of them in the arm. Now that is a strange moment, since that is the only time a bean has survived from one of Killer Bean's shots. They plan to do something about this before Killer Bean ultimately gets an idea. To use a gas canister, of course. Ha ha ha. He throws it up at them and then shoots it, incinerating them both in a gas canister explosion. Their bodies ultimately fall. Killer Bean looks on at this, only to have a good laugh. Oh shit, he's not dead. I'm gonna keep the CD and then probably shoot him on the rooftop. Good idea. Killer Bean notices this and walks into gameplay? He did this 23 years ago and it's becoming a reality. He gets up there only to be intensely greeted by the DJ Bean. The DJ Bean's up here to kill Killer Bean because they were having a bitchin' party. He says that Killer Bean will only get the CD over his dead body, which is how Killer Bean was intending to do it. There is a brief intense standoff before they ultimately shoot both for bullets, which collide in mid-air, shocking the DJ Bean. They get into a Matrix-style fight scene, which makes sense, as Jeff Liu would later go on to be the lead animator for the Matrix Resurrections in 2003. And the DJ Bean ultimately gets shot. He properly succumbs after a flashback. That flashback also has the Bean that shits himself way too hard, which I'll count just for fun. And with that, he shoots the CD in midair. And with that, he can get some sleep. The short ends with the alarm clock ringing, because that apparently lasted the entire night. How many people died in this homage to John Woo's action classic The Killer? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Oh sweet, this party's bitchin'. Yeah! I counted 16 kills in Killer Bean 2. The victims were all male since there weren't any females yet. Funnily enough, this is the same exact count we've seen in both Zombie Uprising and Roblox The New Beginnings, both of which are zombie related. With a runtime of 7 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 26.25 seconds. I'll give the Amethyst Flamethrower to the Bean that shits himself. That should be Killer Bean's favorite kill, even though he didn't exactly score it. And I'm not gonna give that a broken pistol. All of the kills were so finely choreographed, so that's it. Killer Bean 2 was released in 2000, and it would take 8 more years before we get the next installment. The well-known Killer Bean Forever, which I'll be looking at next week. Until then, I'm Justy Rose, and this has been The Parody. Oh, I found this thing about myself. I'm a